pedal bicycle without helmet. Senior officials in the Education Directorate have been holding a meeting in the Upper River region to look at ways and means of achieving set targets and making the final journey to where it all began. Former South African President Nelson Mandela's remains have been laid to rest in his home village of Kono. Well, that was all in this edition of the news. Thanks for your time and do stay with GRTS.
Doesn't matter where you come from, doesn't matter what you've been through. You can make it if you believe. You've got the potentials living in you. You've got the power to succeed. You've got the power to achieve. You've got the power if you believe. Success power.
Welcome to Success Power. I remember something that happened many years ago. I was young, very young, and my dad bought me balls, with which I played football or soccer when I was young. He knew that I really, really loved to play football. So this particular day, I was kicking the ball against the wall in our house. Although we occupied a flat in the middle floor and there were 3 floors. So I was out on the grounds kicking the ball against the wall. So obviously that was not the wall of our own flat, it was the wall of a neighbor. And the bit of the wall that I was kicking the ball against was there between 2 windows. So my dad looked over the balcony and warned me, that I could break one of the window panes on the neighbor's window. I said he should not worry about that. See, I was so sure of my skills. I was kicking the ball, and it was just a matter of time before I had crack. I broke a window pane on the neighbor's house. I knew I was in trouble. My dad shouted that I should come upstairs. And then, I thought I was going to get the beating of my life that day. I knew I deserved it, okay? That was serious trouble. What was I going to do? And I thought I was going to get some punishment, But my dad went into the room, counted some money, came out, and then stretched the money at me and said, go down to where they sell glass and buy the window pane. This is the size. I didn't move near him at all. He was holding out his hand with the money. I stayed some distance off because I had a revelation that it was a trap. And he just wanted to get a hold of me. He said, take it. So eventually I took the money and he didn't do anything. He didn't touch me. He didn't. Oh. He said, go and buy it. I went. I bought it. We fixed it back. And that was it. I couldn't believe it. But, you know, with time, I really got to appreciate what my dad did that day, because he gave me a taste of what mercy is about. That it's true that there are always consequences for our actions. When we break rules, we deserve to serve the punishment. However, if everybody was to get the consequences of their mistakes, in fact, God should have destroyed all of us by now. There's something called mercy. When you are a kind person, a loving person, you extend your mercy to people over time. Yes, when you're a leader, you need to enforce rules. People need to know that there are boundaries. If you're a parent, your children need to know that there are boundaries. Anyone who is allowed to live without boundaries is a disaster going somewhere to happen. So, but it does help that we show mercy, that we don't wish people evil all the time, even when they make mistakes. But I'll tell you what I took away from my experience with my dad. It is that kindness begins at home. I know you have heard that statement before, that charity begins at home. I think that the family was created by God to provide an opportunity for the molding, the cultivation of the average child into a healthy human being, spiritually, emotionally, and physically healthy, with the capacity to have character and to have skill, competence, in order to add value to the society. When something goes wrong from the home, when instead of love it's hatred and strife and division and extreme anger, I'm telling you, the foundation has been laid for the human being to malfunction. Kindness begins at home. That's what we'll be discussing today. This is Success Power, and I'll be back after this break.
Success Power.
Welcome back. This is Success Power. We're discussing kindness. Specifically today, we are discussing kindness begins at home. Some of the most extreme emotions you will experience in your lifetime are very likely to happen within the context of family. Some of the most extreme emotions you will experience as a person, whether positive or negative, are likely to happen within the context of family. Some of your greatest joys are likely to come from the experiences you have in your family, and some of your saddest moments may happen within the context of family. Family has tremendous influence on how each person turns out in their behavior. So I want to encourage you, dear viewer, be kind at home. The light that shines farthest, shines brightest, nearer home. You know, some people are kind to strangers, to outsiders, but they're not kind to people in their families. But just remember, your spouse, your children,